Alright, so today's machine moving day. My favorite part of like this whole process. You get to go grab these machines out of wherever they're laying and kind of see what's there and what's wrong, and it's kind of like Christmas Day. But I got a couple of hours of driving. I'm just now getting off work, and I'll be heading into Houston, which it's going to be 4 or 5 o'clock driving through Houston, which is going to be a nightmare. But this machine I think is worth it. I had to stop and pick up a trailer. I just rented a little tilt deck trailer. Sometimes when I go get these machines, you know, I have a different truck. I use a diesel truck with a big trailer, and either I'll bring a piece of equipment with me, or they have equipment on site and they can lift it. But with a machine this small that I'm going to get, it's not worth bringing all that. I'll spend more on diesel just getting it there. So I'm renting this trailer actually come out ahead. It's less than $100, and I can pull it with my small truck, and it's pretty simple. This machine's in a lot of pieces. Really don't know the exact condition it's in. What I've been told is it was bought at auction or bought from someone, and then they noticed some galling on the ram, and kind of never messed with it ever since. I'm hoping it's worth saving. No matter what, going to get this machine will be productive, even if it becomes a parts machine. It could help another machine somewhere else get back up and running. So, and at the price, or it's free. The machine's not going to cost me anything besides the actual moving cost. So it's definitely worth it, and definitely worth saving. Well, that didn't take long. Yep, we are in dead halt traffic. Oh boy. Alright, here it is. We've got a Sheldon 12-inch Shaper. Like I said, it's in pieces, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It looks to be in relatively good shape. I think we've got some galling on the ways here. Yeah, I can see the dovetail galling right there. But other than that, we'll get it put back together and get it moved. Alright, so when I go and grab these machines, obviously you can see I have a crazy amount of gear for this very small machine. I just don't like driving several hours away and not being prepared. If something were to happen, the pallet jack failed, or I just didn't plan right, I like to be as prepared as possible. And one of the big questions I get asked a lot is, like, how do you get started in this? And then the follow-up question is, how do you move these machines? And I'm doing this on an extreme budget when I do these machines, so there's no room for me to pay for rigging, which can be extremely expensive. So I've kind of had to learn how to move these machines, and I am by far not an expert or professional rigger, so this is just my own personal views, and is by no means advice on how to move these machines. But the number one thing about moving them is you need to understand it's extremely dangerous, and you should really take your time, really think out how these machines, their weight is distributed, and kind of just pay attention. The machine's going to tell you what it wants to do, basically. And having kind of at least the right equipment, so you're not stressed and doing sketchy stuff. So, kind of saying that if you're going to start moving these machines, it's best to maybe find someone who can help you on your first one that has experience doing it. If you're just smart and pay attention and go slow, it's really not that hard. And you can do it on a fairly good budget. Like these toe jacks, they're a good investment if you're going to do it. You can get them on eBay for like $100. And they make this extremely easy and way safer than trying to pry it up or use sketchy car jacks, which I've seen people do, and it's an easy way to get yourself crushed. And then the next thing, especially using these pallet jacks to move these machines, it's usually metal on metal, and that is a sliding hazard. So I like to ratchet strap it down to the pallet jack itself, and then typically I'll use a come along to get it up, but this machine was light enough to try and pull up there. Obviously I failed the first time, and I needed a little bit more oomph to get it up there. So, like I said, I'll show my mistakes and bloopers in some of these videos. That's kind of how we all learn, but nothing crazy here. Fairly easy, fairly light machine. Alright, so I got it all loaded up. Got it strapped down. I typically like to go one strap across, one strap across, one strap to keep it on the trailer from rolling off, and then a couple of straps to keep it from going forward in case I slammed on my brakes real hard. This thing's heavy. It's got momentum. It can slide. Sometimes if the load's balanced enough, I can tuck it up against the rail up there and kind of give me extra security. But we can't do that today, so we got it over the axles. We're about to head out. We're gonna go look at some tractors first, and then we'll get out of here. So here's me backing up this trailer, and we're gonna have a little love tap with the building. Oops. These little trailers can be a lot harder to back up than my big long ones. And we're kind of having to do a 90-degree turn there to get it in. Alright, it made it here in one piece. No issues. Didn't even really move too much. Everything stayed pretty tight. We'll get it unloaded here. This is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just going to roll off, and we're going to drop it right there and leave it till I can get some room cleaned up for it. All right, so it's in the shop now. Getting it off the pallet jack was the same process as loading it, so I didn't really feel the need to video it. Plus, my phone is about to die. But we're in the shop. Not sure when I'll start on it. Not sure if this is going to be just the video of moving it, but we'll see. All right, so here's the Sheldon 12-inch Shaper. I don't know a crazy amount about these machines. They've kind of never been on my radar until now. I've always been looking at the G&Es and the Cincinnatis when I was shopping for Shapers. But this is a cool one. It's not very big. I think they're like 1,800 pounds, give or take. I did not really do a crazy amount of research. The machine was free, and I said, yeah, I'll come get it. There's a bunch of information on, vintagemachine.org, but there's not a crazy amount of YouTube videos. I mean, if you look up the G&E Shapers, I mean, there's probably 100 videos on them. I've only found like 5 or 6 on these Sheldons. So I think it'll be worth documenting. They tore into it and noticed that there was galling on the ram. Well, first, so everything's hopefully here. I printed off a parts diagram and some manuals. And we're going to do a quick inventory today of everything in that box and see if I've got everything. Hopefully I do. Everything else seems to be in good shape. But they tore into this. I guess we're going to clean it. And then once they pulled off the ram, they noticed that they have some galling. And I think it's fairly significant. Obviously, I don't think this is from chips or like an abrasion. This looks, to me, from lack of oiling and kind of metal on metal tearing off. But I think it's savable. That could be my inexperience as a machine rebuilder, but I think it's okay. I mean, I can feel it with my fingernails. And there's some damage, not quite as bad over here. All this is not damaged. That is a film, I guess from a rust inhibitor. We will clean that off. But this right here on the front of the ram, I mean, we have 4 inches of damage. And the significant part is like right here. And right there. So I was reading some forums. And like I said, I am by far not an expert. Some guys talked about, obviously the right fix, if these are not too deep, would be hand scraping this all back in. And that is something I want to do one day. Even if it's not on this machine, that is a skill I want to learn. I'm just not tooled up for it, and I do not have the knowledge or the experience to be doing it right now. And it's the last thing I want to do is try and do it on something that's important. The long-term goal is to acquire the tools to do it. They're not cheap. And just like everything else, I have to do everything on a budget, and I have to buy it when I can find deals on it. So it's hard to just go out and seek the stuff that I need. Everything kind of happens on its own time with that kind of stuff. I really need a much better surface plate. I have a little bitty surface plate over there. I need some straight edges. And then obviously I need the measuring tools I have. I then will need obviously scrapers and the knowledge what to do. So then the next step would be I want to take some classes. There's a couple of guys on YouTube that offer them, and they're very affordable classes, I think, for what you're learning. And I just have to budget for them. Hopefully in the near future I can. But having said that, I think my best option right now, and then I'm going to post this before I really start putting this all together, is what y'all think about this. Should I just stone this? I have precision ground stones. I might just stone down the high edges that I can feel, and not dig too far in, obviously. That'd be stupid. And hopefully these just act as oil retention. That is what some of the guys on the forums have said they've done with their damaged shapers. And I know I'm rambling here, but I guess my thought process is we are not making precision parts here. Oh, we're making precision parts for other machines, but like if I mess up a part, or I have the time to work around some of these issues if I'm making a part. And then also I'm not working in tenths of a thousandths of an inch. So I kind of want to put this back together and kind of do an assessment of everything else. I have no clue if there's gear damage, if there's the motor's bad. This could be far too gone for me to even throw any more money at. And it could be a parts machine for somebody else who's trying to get one together. Or I might put it back together, and I know there's a couple of museums around here that might be into just displaying it. A couple of like industry museums. So if I were to get it in fairly decent shape, it might be something that I donate to them. And it's just strictly be decoration. But we're a long ways away from making any of those decisions. But I think that's where we're at. I have to figure out that galling issue. And it seems to be okay over here. Nothing crazy. Obviously, that Gibbs over here. But no major damage here. And there's, I think, a little galling over here. But we'll see. We're going to kind of dig into it. Alright, so we're definitely not doing another shaper cleaning video. I figured I'd just throw in a few clips of me cleaning this machine up. It took me about an hour to get all the grime and rust off of the machine surfaces, and that kind of just wiped down the painted surfaces. I guess the goal was just it's already apart, we might as well give it a rough cleaning. And that's kind of where we're at. The next video, we're going to be kind of throwing this back together. This machine seems to be in pretty great shape. I guess we're going to see about everything else. Alright, so this is probably going to be the end of this video. Part 2 will be me, like, I guess, reassembling it and maybe testing it. But kind of got it all cleaned up pretty decently. Got all the surface rust that was on here. Oops, I forgot to wipe that. It's in really good shape for how old it is. Everything polished up pretty nice, pretty shiny. Some of this I'll have to take off and put on a buffing wheel. I couldn't get that by hand, but that's not a priority right now. We are now going to start putting it back together, and that'll be all of next video. And hopefully maybe we get it running then. No promises. And I'll start digging in for some research and maybe dating this machine and maybe figuring out some more details about it. But thank you guys for watching. I guess like and subscribe, and let me know what y'all think about, I guess, everything in this video, and if you have any suggestions on me moving forward. See you guys.